Hey everyone, today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm assuming you've already finished watching the HDMI tutorial for the M100, to get that clean HDMI out. Because today I'm going to show you the settings I'm using on this camera, as well as some other things. A couple things we need to go over real quick, alright? Just a couple things. First things first, please don't pick up one of these kind of cameras if you've not bought lighting yet. Go out, spend $50 on some cheap LED panels like I did, and you can turn a C920 from looking like this into this. So please don't waste your money on a $500 camera where it's not needed, especially if all you're going to use your new camera for is to be a small window in the bottom corner. It's unneeded and there's really no difference. All right, now that the PSA crap is out of our way, hello everyone, I am a magical wizard and this is our room. First thing we're going to need to do though is grab our camera and set it to movie mode. Turn it on, and you'll get something like this. If you're not here, make sure you're in movie mode. Next thing though is that you're actually going to press down on the D-pad until you get to this screen. Once you're here, you're going to click the middle button, which is set, and you're going to use the D-pad and go all the way up to the top left corner, which is the movie setting. You're going to click on it and you're going to switch it to movie manual exposure because you want the best manual control of your camera. You want it on manual exposure. Don't set it to auto or you'll get these random adjustments during your stream or recording. Now that we're done with this, we're going to go to the right and we're going to change the shutter speed. This is how long the lens is open to close, and in retrospect, this is kind of going to work like your FPS. I suggest anywhere from 1/80th to 1/25th of the fraction of a second. I have mine usually set between 1/100th and 1/25th. You don't really need to go above 1/60th. However, if you want to avoid some ghosting and smearing, bump it up to at least 180. On to the next setting, which is our aperture or our f-stop. Aperture is kind of like your pupil. When your pupil is bigger, more light comes in, and when your pupil is tinier, it allows less light to come in. However, even with my LED lights, it's best to keep it down to 3.5. This is going to be your best setting. This allows for the most light to enter into your camera. Just a general reminder, these are the settings I am using on my camera as a webcam. For now, I'm going to give just gross oversimplification so everyone can understand kind of what's happening. To our right, you'll either see a number or something that says auto. This is your ISO. This is how you artificially measure the internal light of the camera. So the higher the number, the grainier the image. The lower the number, the smoother the image. So for the best part of it, you're going to want to keep it below 800. 800 is the top threshold you should be touching. So now that we actually finished with the ISO, we're going to leave this menu. So click the menu button, click down on the D-pad, and now that we're back to this screen, hit set. And then we're going to change some settings here. First of which is the top left, which is our image quality. Make sure it's set to RAW. If you want, you could get away with setting it to one of the two larges. However, for me, it's best to have it on RAW. Go down here, and for movie recording size, you want it maxed out. Go to FHD 59.94 frames per second. Go down here, make sure it's on drive mode and not continuous shooting. It should be this one, single shot. No timer. Go down and we'll be on our white balance. Here is kind of a preference thing a little bit, but the two ones I've discovered the most is daylight and cloudy for what works best with me. For you, it could be a little bit different. The next setting is picture style. This is more of a taste rather than a necessity. So for the most part, I'm going to recommend most people keep it to standard or portrait. However, I have done my own customizing with fine detail, and that's what I'm going to keep it on. I'm not going to go over the settings because it's a little bit more difficult to upload to the camera. So hit OK there, and now hit menu, and you should find yourself here. You need to get to this menu, and here what you're going to go to is the red tab of 3, and you can change things here. For me, I keep it on manual focus. Every once in a while, I'll change it to autofocus. However, if you're going to have it on autofocus, again, I told you guys this during the M100 clean HDMI out tutorial, you can't have face tracking on if you're using that script because it'll have a white box on screen while you're recording or streaming, and it's kind of distracting. So for now, I'm going to keep mine on manual focus. The next tab we're going to head to is tab 4. Here for me, I have manual focus peak off. I don't want a highlighted colored area to be displayed on my screen when I am recording or when I am live streaming. Next is tab 5, and we're going to go to the highlight tone priority, and I suggest you enable it. It's great. It will eliminate hotspots on your image and your video. Alrighty then. So we have no more settings to show you on the internal side of the camera. However, for OBS, I have a few things I'm going to show you because I had some questions on how I'm capturing the clean HDMI out. And I'm using a AverMedia capture card. And I'm going to show you that and everything else and how it runs through OBS because I like to say I really appreciate you, and I'd really appreciate you if you hit that free subscribe button and maybe give me a thumbs up if you're liking the video so far. Let's go! So now that we're inside of OBS, I'm going to set up a whole entire new scene. I'm going to go like this, name it settings, or testing, sorry. Bottom left corner of my sources, and I'm going to add a new video capture source, and this is going to be my M100 test. I'm going to choose my AverMedia capture card because that is what I am using to capture my clean HDMI out camera. I'm going to set a custom resolution, and I set it to 1920 by 1080. I go to my FPS and I go to the highest FPS available. And for the rest of the settings, I leave it. Depending on what you use, you can mess with it. But for me, I leave it. It's automatically going to choose the best ones available. So there we go. I have a clean HDMI out from my M100 script into my AverMedia capture card, and all I did was add the video source to OBS. There isn't really anything complicated behind it. I don't have any color correction settings that I use inside of OBS, but in After Effects, I have some post-processing that I do. Whoa. All right, so whether you're here for a minute or you're here for the entire video, I appreciate you. However, if you were here for the entire video, I really appreciate you. So please leave a comment below, drink your water, have a wonderful summer, and as always, goodbye.